Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. We're episode 202, last episode before Christmas 2020. I am your host, Sean Hayes. With me is my wonderful co-host, as always, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
So we're here. It
Mm-hmm.
is pre-Christmas Eve, though for audio listeners, it is currently Christmas Eve. There's
Mm-hmm.
snow on the ground.
There
It's still not
is.
dirty yet. It's not dirty snow yet.
No, it still looks like pretty. It's hanging on the trees
It's a
just
little half
enough.
melted, but
Yeah, you know,
Um,
just just
and
just be careful walking.
yeah.
Waddle like a penguin. Cause
As
ice.
far as gaming news this week, not a whole lot of variety in gaming news since the majority of the gaming news cycle is taken up from one game in particular that everybody seems to be kind of retreading the same ground all over the
Yeah.
place. And we're gonna do that too. So why don't we get right into that?
Yes.
All right, quick fire news. Courtney,
Yes.
why don't you start off?
I'm going to start off with the most exciting news of the week. Stardew Valley's update 1.5 went live on PC on Monday. That is December 21st, and I am so excited. I have been playing a lot, and we will get more into that in the deep dive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
All
but
right.
that's the good news.
Next up, um, let's see. We're show notes are in a particular order. We're gonna go out of order here. OBS, which
Hmm.
many of you folks might use for streaming. It's what we use for streaming to Twitch.
Hmm.
Latest update gives Twitch streamers in particular an extra audio output channel for VODs that can be muted. Now, this is
Hmm.
important um, because basically Twitch has been getting a whole slew of DMCA requests from basically music companies and record labels, um,
Hmm.
even for tracks that are in games and not necessarily people playing like Spotify in the background.
Yeah.
Uh, and Twitch's recourse has been you're just going to have to mute your games. Um, so this will give an opportunity, especially for people that like are playing music in the background, uh, doing like an art stream or something, to then mute it for the VOD. So that way, like if I were to do this,
Hmm.
what I'm saying would still be coming through, but like background music would just get cut out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's
Okay,
it's an
that's
interesting solution to it,
yeah.
to what is a terrible problem. Unfortunately, it
Yeah.
doesn't solve the issue of, say, if you're playing, uh, like GTA or something where it has a radio and it plays music that has been licensed for the game. Then,
Yeah.
in theory, if you're streaming it, you should be okay. And record labels have said no, no, you can't do that. All right.
Mm.
Uh, so next up, The Mandalorian will have a spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett, that I thought was
Yeah.
going to be season 3 of The Mandalorian. It will not. It was going to launch alongside season 3 on Christmas 2021. So we're going to get
Oh,
basically 2 Mandalorian series, one starring Boba Fett and
nice.
I can't remember the character's name, but
Well, one
Ming Na Wen.
one with Boba Fett and one with Mando.
Well,
Basic.
yeah, but the Boba Fett series is going to have him, and I'm going to look this up really quick. Courtney, why don't you touch on the next news topic while I
Yeah,
look this
the
up?
Cyberpunk 2077 is Sony has pulled the game from its store. And Microsoft is offering no questions asked refunds. When I heard this news, I was not extremely shocked, to be honest, but a little bit surprised because the last time I heard of something like this happening with refunds for a digital game was Fallout 76, which was a hot pile of garbage. And don't require me to have friends to play video games. But yeah, it's gotten that bad.
Well, so um, I mean, the difference. So Fallout 76 there was a lot of backlash from design decisions,
Yeah.
whereas this is um like because marketing was intentionally. It seems to be marketing was intentionally misleading for PS4 and Xbox One owners,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which is sort of the bulk of the issues that have been happening.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Sony just outright pulled the game from its store. Microsoft's offering no questions asked refunds. Reports are also including Best Buy and GameStop are allowing refunds if you've played the game. Like,
So
so
they
if you
can't
have opened the game and played it, like you can bring it back and say like, no, I'm done.
well, that's kind of good because I know that GameStop's policy with new games is you can't do a return on a new game if it has been opened.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I'm
reportedly, I don't know if it's
very
a widespread corporate policy, but it seems to be that there are at least certain branches that are doing that, just because of how widespread this problem is.
yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was a corporate decision and that was across all GameStops. Because with something like that, like the game's not done, people. Like,
I mean,
ugh,
it's mostly done for PC, for
yeah,
PS5, and for Xbox Series X, and possibly the Series S. I don't know.
yeah,
But it's the I guess quote unquote past console generation that
yeah,
it was initially developed for is not capable of playing this game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and there was a lot of sort of shady practices leading up to its release, surrounding marketing and reviews. Um,
yeah,
yeah, that more information is coming out. This, because of sort of how negative a lot of the news has been surrounding it. Um, I mean, I don't necessarily want to add to it, especially since I have zero stake in it
yeah,
whatsoever. I don't have any of these consoles. And I mean, I was not really interested in this game from the get go. Um, it's just the fact that because this is happening, um, we wanted to just kind of reshare that to our audience here.
mhm,
Um, but I don't necessarily want to get into like the editorial discussion surrounding
yeah.
the decisions made and everything. There are plenty
No, we're
of
we're gonna talk about happier things.
media outlets out there that are doing a much better write up,
hmm
and that are actually like informed within the industry, that can talk about it better. But to sum
hmm
it up, this is quite possibly even worse than the No Man's Sky launch, um, especially from a studio that supposedly had a sterling reputation. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a good situation for CD Projekt Red. So,
No.
all right. Uh, and unfortunately, that's kind of it because the Cyberpunk news has been dominating the gaming news cycle.
Yeah, also, like, unless if my boyfriend had not sent me, because like, the tweet from, Concerned Ape about Stardew, I wouldn't have known. I would have just been continuously looking up, like, "When's the launch coming? When's the launch coming for
Oh, I saw
PC?"
it
I know
popped
it's
up in
gonna come
Steam.
yeah, and then I opened up Steam, but I don't open Steam every day. Like, I'm not that's one of the
Ah,
things that I don't if I'm not playing something, I don't usually open Steam
I
unless
mean
I've
that's
like
true. I've only been seeing
rest
it because I've been playing. I have to load Assassin's Creed through Steam in order
yeah.
to use a controller. So
Yeah, like unless I've like restarted my tablet computer for
yeah,
like whatever reason, updates, whatever. I don't usually open Steam.
yeah,
So, but I am a lot these days.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up our quick fire news and head right into our deep dive. Okay. So first up, I had wanted to talk about the Mandalorian, have this kind of be a Mandalorian spoiler cast, but Courtney
Yeah,
got the
I know.
tweezers pointed at
I,
you.
the,
That's what they are. They're tiny
what are you gonna
tweezers.
tweeze my? Are you gonna tweeze my
You're
eyebrows
gonna
or
I'm gonna
something?
just no
Like
point at you
even I don't do that
menacingly
for myself.
for not having gotten caught up on it.
I'm sorry.
You should be. Because so I'm just gonna give my thoughts on it without spoilers.
Mhm.
Is season 2 was even better than season 1. And it is worth watching, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. Because they they practice what I'm going to call responsible fan service because there's like different ways of doing fan service, quote unquote,
Mhm.
in in media. And yeah, like one is shameless, which we kind of saw in the sequel trilogy a little bit, where it's like kind of having gratuitous stuff being thrown in,
Mhm.
um, or just kind of rehashing the same storylines,
Yeah.
which regardless of whether they're enjoyable or not, like it's still rehashing kind of this and retreading the same stuff.
Yeah.
Um, whereas there's ways of reincorporating, say, existing characters. Um, and unfortunately, it's a little spoilery of the Book of Boba Fett uh, being a Mandalorian spin-off series. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but sorry, folks, it was like all over as an announcement, and you can't.
Yeah. No. Even like I've followed. I live on the internet, so
Yeah.
I have followed enough of like I've seen enough memes on Imgur and enough dumps of like just different posts. I've seen some things. I know generally a couple things that happen, but I will also say this: the fan base that I have seen has not actually been giving too many spoilers. I'll
Yeah,
see
yeah,
something
they've been really
cool,
good.
like they've
That's
been
also
really,
because
really good.
there are some big spoilers that happen.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I've seen somebody gets named. Um somebody we get their name, and that's really all I've seen. I've seen like different costume stuff.
mhm,
Like but I haven't honestly gotten any real details.
yeah.
Um which
So I
I'm
will. There
kind of
are character appearances from a wide variety of Star Wars media.
yeah, oh, and Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I mean, which we've reported
Yep.
on that before.
Which we've known is yes,
Um,
but I've heard she did a very good job, and
yes.
going forward it's going to be great and all
Yep.
of that. But
But
yes.
yeah, it fantastic season. Um, like I mean, to put it blatantly, like I've been more excited on Friday mornings for Mandalorian than I have for finishing episodes of Critical Role. Um,
Wow.
so I mean that's a thing. No offense to the Critical Role crew, just you know, the current arc. It's snow. I don't
Yeah.
want snow. I don't want to hear about
And
snow.
that's kind of where it is we're in that where we are in the story of that is less I'm going to say less thrilling possibly than how Mando has been for season 2. Is that a
Yeah,
good
well, and I mean it's also disingenuous to compare like those two
Yeah.
properties, right? Um, but I mean the thing is, even when because I mean there's what could be construed as sort of quote unquote filler episodes for Mando, but the whole premise, like the whole pacing of the show has been from season 1, like there's a story. The story is he's got to bring the child somewhere. He
To
has to
a
find
child's people.
his people and bring him back. And so like that's kind of the overarching plot. And it's like every episode is basically he gets a lead, he goes there, He's got to help somebody to get information or repairs or technology or something, and then he helps them, he gets that, and then he's on his way. And that happens a bunch in this season as well. Um, but they do a pretty good job of integrating and reintegrating certain characters,
Nice.
both from outside of the series and from season 1 of The Mandalorian as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Good. No,
Yeah,
I
highly
do.
recommend it. And now you can binge it, Courtney. So there you go.
Yes, that was the other thing is like I I really enjoyed season 1, but I'm not I've found that I really, really, really stink at watching TV like normally. I need at least 5 or 6 episodes to binge it
See,
at
I
a time.
enjoy it much better having it
Mhm.
be released episodically as opposed to it being released all at once.
Yeah,
Um,
no, and I don't this is the other thing though, cuz like I don't mind waiting.
yeah,
Like I really but I'm the person that will binge and then I'll switch to something else to binge on for a little bit um to kind of change up my taste buds in if we're talking about TV as another thing that you consume.
yeah. I Of
Um
course, I'm also saying this as somebody
and
who
then
is
I forget about it and I forget to go back every week to watch it
yeah.
is why I'm bad at it cuz then I'll forget where I was or something like that. I like being able to just follow it all the way through. So,
See, I'm also saying this as someone who's in the middle of watching the entirety of Adventure Time, and there's just too much. Adventure Time went on for far too long. I'm really like I was very sad when it finally ended. But now I'm realizing there was like 5 seasons that they just didn't need to do. Especially since season 5 like just kept stretching on for like 100 episodes apparently.
ooh.
At least that's
I
how
mean,
it's
it was
ordered
only
in
like
HBO Max.
it was only what, like 15-minute episodes, right?
Yeah, like 12, 15-minute episodes. I
Yeah.
mean, which is standard, but
Yeah.
still, uh,
Yeah, that's a lot.
you would think that like a 20 episode season or 22 episode season, which most of them are, it just for some
Yeah.
reason season 5 like stretched to like 60 to 80 episodes.
Wow, that's a lot.
And now they're just in like all this cosmic stuff. Like, and it's basically like a D&D campaign. Like they started out small, doing small adventures, and then they, got it
Yeah,
up a
yeah,
little
it's
bit
little
bigger.
things in the area and
And now
let's
they're
go
getting
see
into all
this
the weird
princess
cosmic
and
stuff of like the comets and Finn's dad, and uh, how Princess Bubblegum is one of the 4 elemental lords, or one of the 4 like primal elementals or something, and
Mhm.
yeah,
So
it's just
I
kind
just
of
need to
losing me.
so I know about Adventure Time the same way that I know about many things because I just happen to live on the internet and I'm around it enough. I, I have absorbed information. This is a very, very big question that I'm about to ask
Yeah.
because, according to the internet, everything that I've seen, I'm not sure if this is a true ship or if it is a fandom ship, but
Oh, you
are
mean Marceline and
Marceline
Princess Bubblegum?
and Princess Bubblegum? Is
So
it canon or is it just something that the public has wanted for so long that it's just kind of
it
become
is canon.
okay?
It's so, and there's like a spin-off series that they're doing. I
Oh, okay.
don't know because I haven't seen the end of the original Adventure Time series. I don't
Mhm.
know if they end up together or end up back together, or if
Mhm.
it's talking about a time when they were together before Finn,
Okay. No,
because they
I
were
was
together
just
before Finn,
okay because
and
I was
then
just
I don't know
very,
if they.
very
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
I know that everybody ships them, and like hell,
No,
even
it's
I ship
canon.
them. I just didn't know if it was canon or if it was one of those widely accepted.
It's
It
canon.
might as well be canon. Okay.
No, it's official.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy with that. Like, I'm all about that. I totally ship them too. And again, I haven't even fully watched Adventure Time, but but yes. So thank you for that. I needed to know for
Yeah.
sure. Uh,
So
but yes, binging. I like to binge. That way, I know I haven't missed anything.
yeah.
Like,
I
there's
also, I kind of like, I just like the episodic stuff better because, and I've heard this before as well from other
Mhm.
folks that have been reviewing the series, is that it gives more time to fully digest each individual episode. Because I know, like with Stranger Things,
Mhm.
like after watching season 3, I couldn't remember half of what happened.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, and
especially
it's
because
kinda
we'd
like
watch, 3, 4 episodes in a row.
mhm.
By the time we got done with it, it was like, wait, where did we start at?
Yeah.
Who's this guy again? What's their name?
Come on, Sean, that's why you do a season in a night. Like, you do a season in a setting. Or you go into the mid-season break, you go until the break it sweeps, and then you go I'm sorry, I totally
I am
didn't do
usually
that.
watching these things with somebody else, and therefore do not have control over how many episodes I'm able to watch in a given sitting
Mhm. Fair.
because we have different bedtimes.
Yes.
So, um, so yeah. But the good news is all episodes are out now, so you can binge season 2.
Yay.
So yeah.
Also, is there a quick recap of season 1 before the first episode of season 2?
Well, they do a quick recap of relevant plot details for a given episode
Okay.
before every episode.
Okay, perfect then. That works.
Yeah, which you can skip.
Yeah.
Um, but again, also if you're watching it each week like I was,
Mhm.
uh, that's cool and nice,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning of a season.
Yep. Very nice. Good. Good,
Yeah.
good, good.
All
Yeah.
right. I have also, so I also wanted to talk a little bit about Hades, which
Yeah, how's
is the
that?
latest roguelite game from Supergiant, um, where you play as Zagreus, son of Hades, and you are trying to bust out of the underworld. And Hades has said no, that no one leaves, and he basically commits every resource he has in the various levels of the underworld to stop you. Uh,
Nice.
and because like everybody from the underworld's kind of already dead, like you die, but you can't truly die because you're kind of already dead.
Yeah.
Also, like it was like basically a demigod. So
Yeah.
that basically ties into like the whole roguelike mechanic where you're like after every run, like you're like resurrected back, and you get to carry some stuff over and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. My boyfriend Joe is playing it a bit, and
Yep,
he says he's really liking it too.
yeah,
Where it's just, trying to escape the underworld. Every time you die, you walk back out again.
yep. Um,
So,
so along the way, you get power ups in the form of boons from the Olympian gods,
mhm.
which is differentiated from the Chthonic gods, which are basically the gods of the underworld. Um,
Ah, okay.
so the gods of the underworld are like Nyx, Thanatos, Hypnos, Hades. So gods dealing with like death in the underworld, whereas the Olympian deities are kind of the big prime players, like Zeus, Poseidon, uh, Artemis, Hermes.
Question.
Yes.
Where does Persephone fall in that?
So so this is a little bit of a spoiler, but if you know Greek mythology,
Bec-
it's not a
I
spoiler
was
at
gonna
all.
say this is my thing. It's knowing Greek mythology. Where does Persephone sit in all of that?
Um, so Zagreus eventually discovers that Nyx is not his real mother, and is searching for Persephone.
Okay.
And
Okay.
basically, every other chthonic deity and other NPC sort of in the underworld, that's not just a rando enemy, is sort of in an attempt to like usurp Hades' authority, is helping Zagreus get to the surface to find Persephone. Um,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, cuz Joe hadn't gotten that far to figuring to telling me that. So I was just like, what
yeah, that is
what
the ultimate
happened?
goal. Um, And
Find mum.
yep. And so the Olympian
I
deities will
like it.
offer you boons that are themed around their portfolio. Um,
Mhm.
so some things to note, like Apollo is not included, which I thought was a little weird because he's kind of a big deal. We lost Courtney. Um, Hephaestus is not included, which he's also kind of a big deal. Um, but I think they have all the other big players. So
Mhm.
you have Zeus, Poseidon, you have uh, Artemis and Athena. You have Dionysus and Aphrodite. You have Ares, Hermes.
Narcissus?
What's that?
Narcissus?
No, no, you don't have
Okay.
like the minor. You don't have like Nike and
No, I'm just like, yeah, I'm thinking about like, okay, literally I'm thinking about the beginning scenes in Hercules. And who do we go by?
oh no, no,
Who does Hermes fly by?
no. Disney's Hercules is a very. You're referring to Disney's Hercules or Kevin Sorbo
Yes.
Hercules?
No, I am referring to Disney's Hercules, the
Yeah, that's a
animated.
bad
Yes.
example.
Had the
So,
names right.
uh, but yeah, so of note, like, and so for example, Zeus will give you like lightning powers. So like you're like, and they'll and you're given a choice of three and they can come in different rarities. So obviously, the higher the rarity, the better the power is. But you can also level them up too. So there's a weird thing with that.
Interesting.
Um, so for example, like if you get a boon from Zeus, you might get the options of your attack will deal lightning damage, which chains to other enemies. Your special attack will zap nearby foes with electricity, or your dodge, might zap somebody nearby. Like your dash attack might zap a nearby enemy with electricity. Um, they also might have passive effects. So Zeus's might be like when your lightning chains to enemies, it will chain an additional 2 times. Or if you like dodge out of the way of an attack right before you're hit, it'll zap somebody with electricity. Um, so I've been getting really good results, uh, kind of getting chummy with Dionysus,
Okay.
which sounds weird. Um, but
I mean,
basically,
he's a good guy to
his
get chummy with.
his stuff inflicts hangover, which is basically a poison effect. So
Yeah.
and it stacks. So like the more times you inflict it, the more damage they take per second.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, Zeus like jolts people with electricity. Poseidon knocks back. Um, Artemis has like crit chance. Athena has deflect, which is also a really good defensive one. Um, Aphrodite inflicts weak, makes them weak in the knees, and they deal less damage to you. Um,
Aw.
Ares inflicts doom, so it's they get inflicted with it, and then after a certain number of seconds, they take heavy damage, um, which is kind of similar to like Doom from like Final Fantasy games, where it's you got a counter, and when the counter ran out, like you died, but you take heavy
Yeah.
damage. Um, Dionysus afflicts hangover. Hermes is interesting. He only augments like movement related stuff,
Well, yeah, that's what I would think he would do.
and he never augments like your attack, cast, or special kind of thing. It's all like passive effects. Um, so they might be things
Hmm.
like you just move faster. Um, there is one where you get more money like you just automatically get money every time you complete a room. Um,
Interesting.
if you dash after taking damage, you recover a portion of the damage that you took. So interesting stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, there's also like duo powers where if you have certain boons from two different deities, you
Yeah.
can qualify for like a joint power between the two of them. That will like it'll augment both effects. So
Yeah.
uh like Dionysus and Aphrodite is like um
Mhm.
you can inflict more stacks of hangover to enemies afflicted by weak.
Oh, okay.
So then it like encourages you to inflict weak on enemies and then get more stuff
Yeah.
with your hangover
Yep.
things.
Yeah,
Um,
use this so that this can stack, so
yep.
that that can do all of that other stuff, and yeah,
Yeah.
combos.
Yeah.
Lots of different.
Um, Poseidon and Dionysus is any future boons that you get are minimum epic tier. It's a really good one to get like right at the start of a run. Um, now,
Whoa!
now occasionally, so there are also like upgrades that you can. So obviously, because it's a roguelike, there's all sorts of upgrades that you can do passive stuff to like make future runs easier using materials that you collect throughout the run. So you can
Yep.
either augment yourself, or you can augment like chambers using a general contractor of the underworld, and they're like these little shade guys with construction helmets.
A general contractor of the underworld. That
Yeah, it's like
just
they're just called the
okay.
contractor.
I'm sorry, but I'm imagining like emo colored minions.
They're more like sort of spooky spectral green blanket ghosts.
No, I'm still gonna think of them as minions, goth minions.
They're even better as spooky green blanket ghosts with construction hats.
With
Um,
construction.
with construction hats. So
Okay, yeah, yeah.
now one of the things that they can
Safety
do
first, even in hell.
is they can unlock fishing for you. So at some point after you've unlocked fishing, is Poseidon will show up, and the first boon that you get is just like fishing, where it'll make fishing spots show up more often, and it's billed as like a legendary tier boon. It
So
is
how
basically
quickly
a
did you get
waste,
that?
and you are unlucky for getting it.
So how quickly did you get it?
Um, I mean, it was maybe like 4 or 5 runs after,
Okay.
but it is literally the first one that you get, and normally you like want to get one, like you want to get a really good boon right off the bat, so
Yeah.
that way you can start thinking about how you're gonna build your run.
Yep.
Um, and when you get that, now you're like, well, I gotta wait however many rooms before I can get another boon,
Yeah.
because every time you finish a room, you're given a choice of like 1 to 3 rewards in the next room. So that's how you
Oh.
kind of pick your path.
Okay.
Sometimes you might just get treasure, you might get access to boons, you might get Charon's shop. So Charon Boatman of the Sticks basically runs a little shop down in the underworld that you
Boatman.
can show up to.
I mean, he does get paid.
He also
He
doesn't
gets.
speak. He kind of just
He,
like moans and grunts at you.
I mean, you say that like I haven't had that experience in a retail stop
Yeah,
in a retail store before.
yeah. Um, and then each floor there is a specific NPC that you can run into that will give you an offering of different stuff. So
Cool.
the first level is Sisyphus, where folks might
Oh,
remember he
up
was
and down.
condemned to roll the boulder up the hill, and every time it reached the top, it will roll back down. Um, Much better natured in this game than he was in Greek mythology. Like he was condemned because of like murdering his kids or something. Like that's why he was subjected to such punishment. Like when you
Mhm.
hear about these drastic punishments in Hades, in mythology, it's for people that were really terrible. Uh, but now he's like a chummy, good natured guy who's just like, oh, it's hey, I'm chummy with the Boldy, Boldy over here because it's better than hanging out with the Furies. Um, and
Yeah,
then
no, actually, Sisyphus was punished for his self-aggrandizing craftiness and deceitfulness,
okay,
according to Google.
hmm,
Mm. That's what
I'm gonna
Wikipedia
need
says.
to look further on that one.
That's what. Yeah,
But
that
anyway,
is.
So on the second level, on the second floor, it's Eurydice, who is the nymph that oh, what's his name? Orpheus chased after. And in this game, like they were married, uh, and she died before he did. Um, and so she just hangs out in her own little like apartment. Um, and then on the third floor, which is Elysium, uh, I don't recognize the name, but he's basically like he's this really despondent character. Where Elysium is supposed to be like where the great heroes go, and it's supposed to be everlasting paradise and everything. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like bored and depressed, and wants out. And it's like, well, you don't
Even
get.
in paradise, you can have depression.
It's like you don't get out. Like this is where you are, and it's kind of like because it's eternal. Like it's kind of having that. So yeah. So it's really fun. It's really engaging. It's got a great sort of
Mm-hmm.
replayability factor. Um, and it's with the amount of things that you can unlock, you can unlock different traits for your weapons so that it changes the play style of each weapon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and all the weapons have like various ties to Greek mythology. They also included one that like I think they built a sort of mythology around it because it's essentially a machine gun. But they talk about how like, oh, this weapon was too dastardly that the gods sealed it away for if mortals were to ever figure out how to make it themselves. Oh, the wars that would be unleashed when they used it upon each other, kind of a thing. Um, and then
Some
there's a hidden
social
aspect which then draws upon other mythologies. So like the sword is basically like Excalibur as the hidden aspect.
Okay. So not like pantheon mythologies.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Some are. It's just different
Yeah.
mythologies. There's
Yeah.
like fist weapons that are like the fists of Gilgamesh. Um, it's the shield of Beowulf. Um, and then what's funny is but essentially the rail gun or the rail cannon is from Lucifer. It's like the devil's machine gun,
Yeah,
which
that sounds
launches
about
hellfire at people.
right. I mean, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So,
That's
um,
that's who I would expect that from. Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's really fun. Again, indie game, Super Giant's great. And I mean, this was a candidate for Game of the Year, so that just goes to show like how good it is. It's got a
How
great art style.
has a
Um,
really great soundtrack.
yes, it does.
Like Joe sent me some of the links to some of the songs in it, and that's
Yeah,
really
Super Giant
good.
does a fantastic job with a lot of the soundtracks in their games.
Yeah, that was like what I've heard from it is really good.
Also, it passes the "Can you pet the dog" test because you can in fact pet Cerberus, who is also conspiring against Hades to help you get to the surface.
Good
Where
pupper.
he shows up as like the quote unquote, so this is a spoiler. He shows up as the quote unquote boss for the fourth floor, which is like the Temple of Styx. And instead of fighting him, you got to go find a bag of food to distract him with. And you essentially you give him a treat and then you get to pass.
That's that tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
It quite possibly might be like a bag of rat meat or a bag of satyr
Bag
meat.
it is a bag of meat. We do not question the origin.
I say that because those are the meat based enemies that appear in those levels.
I,
The other enemies
either
are
way.
not made of meat. They're like crystalline and metallic or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I figure they're like, golems of one sort or another.
Not necessarily. They're like little weird. They almost look like oh, it's sort of like a heater with a big sort of smoke shield over the top.
Okay.
So you know what I'm talking about? Where they're like it looks like a big giant bowl over like a
Yeah.
heater vent. Are
Good.
one
Okay.
enemy, and then the other one is just literally quite like a bunch of floating crystals that shoot lasers.
Nice.
Otherwise, yeah, it's rats and satyrs.
I- It's hell, you know.
Correction, it is Hades,
There.
which has
Yes.
many different layers.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah,
It's still trying to get out of there.
yes, yeah. The whole game is you're trying to get out. So
Yep.
so yeah.
Fun.
All right. So Courtney,
Yeah.
let's talk about Stardew Valley then.
Let's talk about Stardew Valley. So 1.5 is out on PC. As I said in QUICKFIRE, it launched and became live on December 21st, this past Monday. It is the biggest update yet. There is so much. My brain has like been. It took me half hour to read the full change log,
Courtney, it's
and
even bigger than the update that brought us the 3 additional maps that
yeah,
you can put your farm on.
yep, yep,
Hmm.
it is. And this is,
Hmm.
you know, this was written, you know,
I dispute.
by Concerned Ape. This was written by Concerned Ape.
I dispute, Mr. Ape.
Yeah. But so yeah, so 1.5 is out for PC, and it will be coming to consoles early next year.
Yes.
Um and mobile should follow later, but there's no real timeline yet. Um there is a lot of late game content, which makes me really sad that I haven't been playing on my PC as much. I am still in year 1 on my PC game. Um, which so the late game stuff is the biggest chunk. But there is some new game options.
Yeah, let's
The
talk about
first
so some early game stuff.
Yes. So, right in creation, um, there is a new farm called the Beach Farm. It's big with good fishing and foraging opportunities. And there is a chance for a rare supply crate to watch up on shore.
Oh, that's
Uh,
neat.
so, where I'm getting this is directly from StardewValley.net. This is a post made by Concerned Ape.
Yeah, no, yeah, I figured that you were just reading the patch
Yeah.
notes.
Yes.
But that's really
Um,
cool. That
yeah.
it has just a random chance for uh like rare
Something to
stuff to
wash
show
up on
up.
the beach.
Because like the
Yeah.
foraging we got before,
Yeah.
the foraging and the fishing we got individually in the foraging map and the fishing map.
Yes.
Um, where like the foraging map had like a woodland area where it would drop,
Yeah.
random wild.
Yeah, everything on
Uh,
everything on the left-hand side would have different things that you forage
yeah.
in the respective seasons.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, so the beach farm is great for foraging and fishing, but the majority of this farm is covered in sand, which crops can still grow in, but you can't have sprinklers. Um, and it's definitely not suggested for first time players.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, because
it's yeah, it's not
or for
it's
people that want to go like all in on agricultural farming because like
yeah, no.
after a certain point you need sprinklers. Um,
Yeah.
unless of course you're gonna partake in the other big feature of patch 1.5, which is
I mean, there's so many. There's so
I was
many.
going with local co-op and
I was
make
gonna say,
somebody
which
else
one
do
are
it.
you? I'm like, which one are you talking about, Sean?
The part
There's
that lets
so
you make
much.
somebody else water the plants so that you don't have to.
Yes. Yes, you can do split screen local co-op with this update. To play the split screen, you build a cabin from Robin for up to 3 other players who will be joining. And obviously, if you're starting a new game, you can just have the cabins already be placed. And then once you open the game, you go down to multiplayer. But yeah, there's the option to play split screen. Otherwise, it works just the same as online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Um,
Also of note, with PC only, I believe you can have up to 4 players in split screen.
So you can, that's because you can have up to the 3 other people and you.
Well, because
So, yes.
that won't be the case for console.
No, I think it'll just be 2
It'll be
in
2.
console that we've discussed before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's also there's a new advanced game options button in the bottom left on the character creation menu. From there, you can select a variety of options to customize your playthrough. So for returning players, there is a remixed community center bundles, which randomizes the bundles you'll get. And it also will give you like variations on what is originally there. You can also remix the mine rewards, and that will also add randomized variety to what you get out of the mine chests as you're going down through. And you can get new hairstyles. Yeah.
For you to immediately then hide under a hat.
Yeah.
Captain's hat, best hat. Captain's hat for the win.
They need to finish the dinosaur outfit because there's dino bottoms and a dino hat, but there's no dinosaur shirt. And I did not have the energy to look through all of the clothes that are coming. But there's also some mods for 1.5. Some prominent modders were given early access that they could update their mods in time for release. And so that way, if you play with mods that you really can't live without, some of them, I know one of the big ones is having an elevator in the Skull Cavern, which is really, really useful when you can just go down and immediately start mining iridium. But yeah, so make sure that you check to see if your mods have already been updated. But a lot of the prominent modders were given early access to that, which I think is great. And there's just so much. This is just spoiler-free list of some of the new features. And then I'm going to go into a couple of them a little bit more. But there's new people to meet, new goals, new items, a new type of quest, the new farm layout, like we've discussed, a new community upgrade. So after doing Pam's house, there's another one after that. Home renovations after you've fully upgraded your house. Ducks can now swim, which I think is precious, and I've been so looking forward to seeing. You can sit in chairs, and not just chairs, any benches or any seat that you see, you can sit. You just go up to it, click A, and you sit.
Woo! It's sitting on stuff.
Yeah. Yes. It's very cute because then you can take little screenshots of you sitting next to A, B, or C person, and yes, it's very adorable. I have done it quite a few times now.
Wait a minute. So you can do 4-player split screen co-op.
Yep.
You can now sit. You can put furniture in your house, which you could do before. You can put a table in your house.
Yeah.
You can put 4 chairs around the table. You can have your friends all over playing split screen, and you can play D&D in Stardew Valley. You could
Yes,
already
you
do it in Animal
can.
Crossing. Now you can do it in Stardew Valley.
Now you totally can. Yes. Um, you can also move your bed. I was talking with Sean about this earlier. Uh, you can move your bed. You can also choose to not have a bed in your house, although
Yeah,
your
don't do
spouse
that.
might say something about that.
Yeah, don't do
I
that,
don't think
folks.
I don't think it's a smart idea. What I am hoping, and unfortunately I won't know this until uh, about another 100 hours in. So by this time next week.
Is if you can
Um,
move children's furniture.
I don't know if you're able to remove the furniture from the nursery
Yeah, I don't
because
know about that.
that's annoying. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
I mean, the simple solution to that is you don't build a nursery.
But no, you don't get the option to not build a nursery when you update to adding the second floor on your house.
Oh,
So to upgrade your house entirely, you have to have a nursery.
uh,
And it has like a crib and two little beds and some other stuff in it. And I'm like, no, I don't want a nursery. So hopefully I can take that out. Fish tanks. There's different fish tanks, and there's also new beds, so you can move your bed and you can also have new ones. Um, there's a bunch of new furniture, um, as well as new furniture types like wall sconces. You know, this is going to be great because it's teaching kids interior design. Um, there's new secrets, 9 new music tracks, and just so much more. So much more. The
nice.
full changelog is was compiled by Pathos Child, and it is also right on StardewValley.net.
Yeah.
Um, but yes,
Also, I want to point this out.
hmm
All of this updated content
it's free.
has been made free. You do not
Yeah.
pay for it outside of buying the game once.
hmm
So, just a reminder on that.
Yeah, this
Which
has been
means that Concerned Ape has made boatloads of money selling this game to the such that
a
he's able to
$15
continue working
game.
on this.
A $15 game at that. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, granted, I have it in 2 platforms.
Yeah.
And some people have it in even more. But even then, like $30 to be able to have this game with me on PC and on my Switch wherever I go,
Yeah.
like it's only a $15 game. I don't mind paying for it twice.
Yeah.
And I get all of this content.
Well,
So
and here's the thing. It's worth buying twice.
yeah,
And with
that's
the
the
amount of work
thing.
that goes into it, it's worth paying that twice.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. So yeah. All right.
Um
Courtney, what do you say we move along on to Questlog and round out this episode?
yes.
Questlog is where we talk about what sort of geeky stuff we've been up to, what sort of goals we've set, how well we did over the past week. Courtney, how'd you do? I know you got your stuff. I know you got your presents wrapped.
I was gonna say I got my presents wrapped. For the majority, I just need to do like my mom's. And I'm doing that tomorrow at work.
We're gonna count it.
Yeah. Um, and then I have not done anything in Pokemon Shield because of Stardew. Um,
Yeah, I would say
I
you
came
you
home
want
on
to
Monday.
you want to just
We're
axe that
cutting.
goal.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah,
do. Yeah,
yeah.
because
Sorry,
really, I
Game
want an
Freak.
ostrich. I want an ostrich because that's something I can now get.
I mean, that's something you can get Pokemon too. That's just Zapdos.
No, but you can get. There's new aminals. You could get ostriches and hatch them. I'm gonna have a dinosaurs and ostrich farm.
Or hear me out.
With bananas and
Ostrich
mangoes.
egg
Yep.
or
To
ostrich
make an
omelet.
That's a new recipe.
And then you can also do ostrich meat in the omelet. Yeah, Stardew doesn't do that. They don't.
Stardew doesn't do that, but they would do an egg. Like
They
ostrich
do
mayo is
eggs.
going to
Yeah.
be a thing.
Yep.
Ostrich mayo is going to be a thing.
Ostrich mayo.
Or is
Yeah.
a thing if it yeah.
Yeah, if it makes
I mean,
eggs.
come on.
Because I think they patched it so that dinosaur eggs can
1.4 patched dinosaur eggs make dino mayo.
dino
Yep.
mayo.
Yep.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's oh, there's also more of a chance for they tripled the price of duck feathers and they drop more frequently as well.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because that's my goal is to get enough goals built up so that I can make and update my coop to be able to have ostrich. Because I do want an ostrich and dino farm.
Okay. So goal is just get ostrich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other goals?
Really, it's survive this week of Saturdays that's coming up because
That's not
that's the
geeky.
week.
We don't count it.
No, but that's what the week between Christmas and New Year's is. It's a week of Saturdays, and I still have to work. So it's get ostriches. Hashtag get good, get ostriches.
All right.
But yeah.
I completed both goals.
Nice! Yay! Woo!
So I finished up.
We should
I
have
had
a we should have a sound that you can push on the stream deck.
Smite. I had started coloring a chapter 1 comic, so I finished that one up. And then I'm gonna count it. Was I didn't sort of finish an item icon, but I did like a full color mock-up of one on my iPad using Procreate. That I can then export out to in Photoshop. Of just a fishy fish.
Fishy fish.
So yeah, and that was my 2 goals.
Nice.
So I'm gonna add for next week to those 2 is so in Warcraft, I have a thing called the Queen's Conservatory, which is in the land of the dead. That's where all of the animal spirits go to be reborn. Is they get put in little seed pods and their spirits grow and germinate and they get released and they're reborn and they can go back into the wild. So basically I want to upgrade that to level 2 so that I can start ramping up stuff because that will eventually unlock different sort of animal spirit forms that you can take. One of which being a big old snapping turtle. So that is that's what I want to get.
Nice.
So yeah. So I have enough of the sort of rarer component that I need. Now I just need to start farming the common one, which you get from doing like world questing and stuff. So I'm about 70% of the way there.
Okay.
So,
all right. Doable.
Bingo. Can probably do it. Being away for 4 days will hurt, but you know.
Yeah.
We'll call it 3 days. 3 days will hurt, but you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's the holidays. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But
any final thoughts?
we have 1 week and like 3 days left in this year, people. We can do it. We can do
We
it.
have one more show.
Yes.
So it'll be our 2020 wrap up and 2021 predictions
Mhm.
or
And
resolutions.
resolutions.
Um, I tried to look back in our show notes to see what our resolutions of for this year were to see if we met them, and I can't find those show notes. And in fact, I can't seem to find our resolution show notes for like the past 3 years. That's for whatever reason they just get skipped.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens at the end of the year, but rest assured we will have show notes and we'll track our resolutions. Because yeah, I don't remember at all what we decided to do. Maybe
Yeah, cuz
maybe we'll make it a
it's
point
it
to
was
go back and
episode
listen to that episode.
it was episode 169 and it's not in my drive.
Nope, it is not. So,
So, yeah.
but yeah, we'll be back next week. Um, no game stream on Saturday. I did one on Tuesday this week. So the VOD's up for that. um, next week, who knows? Just because of the whole New Year's stuff and everything, we don't know what we're doing. Just because number one, you can't go anywhere, and number two, even if we could, we can't go anywhere. Uh, unless we got a
um
sitter. So, um,
Also, just so that people are aware, Zoom, which so many people have been using again this year to get to be with people, they are removing the 40 limit time limit again, similar to how they did on Thanksgiving. So they are removing that limit on the last night of Hanukkah, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the last day of Kwanzaa this year.
okay, that's
So
cool.
even if you can't travel to see your family, know that if they can Zoom, which pretty much everybody knows how to do now, at this point in the pandemic, there is no time limitation on those days this year.
Hmm,
So,
okay,
yep.
maybe that is something to consider then.
Yeah.
So, but
Yep.
anyway, so yeah, we'll be back next week with our final show of the year. Um, so yeah, as always, if you want to see more stuff from 8-Bit Adventures, you can check out 8-bitadventures.com. Over there, you can find comics, artwork, podcast streams, and more. If you want to help support that content, you can become a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Big shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons.
Whoop,
Thank
whoop.
you for all of your support, especially during this time. It's been a big help taking care of podcast and website hosting, especially with a kiddo that is now consuming real food. Um, so yeah, stuff's gonna and starting daycare soon, so stuff's gonna
Yeah.
get real expensive real quick. Um, and our opening theme is One Up by the illustrious Professor Shy Guy. Be sure to
Whoop,
go
whoop.
support his stuff over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, we're out. So, as always, have fun, everyone. Happy gaming. Enjoy your pie cake. And from all of us here at 8-Bit Adventures, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Bye, everybody.